the Oxford Handbook of Public Music Theory. Her forthcoming book, Theorizing Music Evolution, is a critical examination of the music evolution movement. And our talk today is entitled Music Theory Memes, Spreading Information and Misinformation.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to share some of my research on music theory memes as spreaders of information and misinformation. And let us begin with an example. This particular music theory meme was posted on the social media website twitter.com on February 8th of this year. The meme in question is a two-frame comic featuring an individual dressed for a boxing match in boxing gloves, bright blue shorts, black boots, closely cropped hair, holding a black and white electric guitar. In the first frame, the person seems ready for action and is saying, "Okay, I'm gonna learn about music theory." In the second frame, however, they are seated, defeated, guitar discarded on the ground, a treble clef staff with a single note, C, intones next to the words, "Damn, now I'm less creative." In the next slide, we see another user has shared the meme and added the following caption. "Anyone that says this is just insecure about their music. It has nothing to do with music theory, lol. Go learn some effing chords." In slide 3, we find another user has reshared the meme with their own comment. "This literally happened when I took music tech/music theory in high school. That's when I stopped listening to the radio." As the meme moves further from its starting point, its meanings fracture further. Who needs music theory anyways? Hans Zimmer can't sight read music. Don't let music theory stop you. Every post about this causes a fight about the importance of music theory in the replies. It's a known fact that everyone who has ever known music theory isn't very creative. Amazing takes on this website as always. These users had vastly different reactions to the meme. Some found it funny, some took it literally, and some wanted to argue with its message that music theory can make you less creative. It was the debate which followed, which helped this meme garner over 30,000 engagements. In my talk today, I will be demonstrating that music theory memes are examples of people spreading information through and about music theory, and thus experimenting with the very concept of music theory, as well as what it means to be a music theorist. In the introduction of this talk, I began with the example of a music theory meme gone viral. In part 2, I will be defining and theorizing meme transmission, drawing on critical internet research by scholars such as Jose Van Dijk, Limor Schiffman, and Paula Harper. In part 3, I will be unpacking some of the histories, musical values, and social meanings of memes, including why it can be difficult to fact-check a music theory meme. Music theory memes spread information and misinformation, but that is only their most obvious feature. What is less obvious, and more significant, I think, is what these memes reveal about how music theory circulates online. Music theory memes get circulated. They get circulated by internet users who prize creating, copying, and sharing bits of content. The people and the electronic crowds which form online are as significant as the memes, their messages, and their media. And in the conclusions, I will reiterate my thesis as such. Online music theorists have been participating in the discourse of music theory in an unprecedented way through memes. Meme transmission was first theorized by Richard Dawkins in his controversial work of evolutionary theory, The Selfish Gene, from 1976. Later, the term was applied by thinkers from a range of fields and underwent several linguistic transformations. The colloquialism internet meme is an unscientific object, according to Jeremy Berman, and a misunderstanding of the original term, a productive misunderstanding, in my opinion. In memes and digital culture, Limor Shifman writes, the term internet meme is commonly applied to describe the propagation of items such as jokes, rumors, videos, and websites from person to person via the internet. Consider, for instance, memes about musical structures, such as the so-called Christmas chord, millennial whoop, Scotch snaps, and triplet flow. Rest in peace, Takeoff. Each of these items denotes a musical trend fueled by internet users' interest in and ability to detect such structures in popular music. These memes represent extensions of prior methods of analysis, such as rhythm analysis or harmony studies, but also capture entirely new ways of listening and thinking about listening techniques. Memes such as triplet flow or millennial whoop are emergent ways of listening and emergent music theoretical methods, all mediated through digital culture. Memes such as these depend upon insider awareness of niche cultural contexts and conventions, and can be partially or totally illegible to outsiders. Still, this does not mean that memes only spread when they become popular within a niche group. Users who misunderstand or disagree with a meme's message can help it travel further. For example, in the opening comic meme, a joke about music theory led to a heated debate which racked up thousands of engagements in a handful of hours and continued to smolder for days. Some users, not in on the joke, read the message literally, music theory as threat. The term music theory became a site of debate, revealing a range of ways users think about music theory. For some, music theory is the structures of music. For others, it is a way of organizing sounds. For another, it might mean contemplating music, or a class, or a textbook. And given their unique experiences with music, it is no wonder that these users read the meme in widely divergent ways, fragmenting the comic's conception of music theory and adding energy and excitement to the conversation. And again, it was the element of debate that helped the meme to spread. All right, let's consider an earlier era of music theory memes. The earliest appearances of music theory online can be traced to the first computer-assisted learning networks called Plato in the 1960s. And I wrote about this for the History of Music Theory blog. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you certainly can read this. Today I'm going to be focusing a bit later on the 1970s to 1990s and the early days of the Society for Music Theory. So as a part of SMT's work to cultivate the field, certain members began experimenting with computer networking. And by the early 1990s, these members had created one of the very first scholarly listservs in any humanities field, SMT List. They also created the e-journal Music Theory Online, one of the first electronic journals in any field, which enabled them to share music theory content far more widely than print journals ever could. SMT's ability to advocate for music theory as a scholarly field was closely connected to these early experiments with the internet. As SMT's networking power grew, members were able to guide the discourse of music theory toward their own interests, leading to jobs and publication opportunities. Music theory on the early internet was an idea that music theorists deliberately spread through computer networks. In other words, music theory itself was a meme brought online during the earliest days of the internet. Compare early internet music theories to more recent music theories created and spread through memes. A long-lasting example from the 2000s depicts music theory as a school subject as difficult as rocket science. In another, more recently popular example, music theory is juxtaposed with music fact. These memes spread information, but are not so easily fact-checked or peer-reviewable. Internet memes are not strictly data and facts. They are also creative and humanistic expressions, conveying tastes and temperatures within a given digital community. Some music theory memes spread because people try to argue with them. And consider again the Christmas chord meme, which offered a reading of Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You." Part of the popularity of this meme can be explained by backlash over different chord labels, demonstrating one of the paradoxes of how information spreads on the internet. Efforts to douse the blaze often fuel it to burn even hotter, sometimes termed the Streisand effect. And on this point, consider online music theories about the quote-unquote healing powers of certain sonic frequencies. These began as homeopathic remedies shared between online users, promising things such as helping you to achieve the beneficial effects of ancient solfeggio scales, offering pure and clean frequencies that will remove mental blocks and help you synchronize with the energies of the universe. And soon they were picked up by music theory YouTubers who were committed to debunking them. Their efforts, however, did little to stem the tide, as these frequency meditations continue to be popular on meditation apps, are regularly shared by celebrities on their social media feeds, and otherwise popularized as quasi-medical care, thus leading to further conspiracies about the healing powers of 432 hertz tones, etc. This is just one example. And sidebar, I think it would be really valuable for music cognition scholars to formally debunk these theories so that people know not to replace real medical care with pseudoscience. The internet, and especially modern social media, enable people and groups to aggregate around shared interests. The term echo chambers signifies homogeneous groups with shared consumption patterns that are polarized against each other. Certain kinds of highly emotional narratives, such as conspiracy theories and science news, can easily generate echo chambers, which then aid in the spread of misinformation online. Media researchers have long theorized that two factors, homogeneity and polarization, are among the main determinants for predicting how quickly and widely rumors spread online. Understanding the forces of homogeneity and polarization online can help explain why memes so often gain visibility through controversy. Take, for example, alt-right memes created in reaction to critical race theories as they appear in music studies. Critical race theorists have been active in music studies for decades, but it was only in the last few years that their work attracted large groups of online pundits in reaction to Philip Ewell's outstanding research on race and music theory, which pointed to Schenkerian analysis as one example of the white racial frame in academic music studies. A group of internet users who were previously disinterested in the work of Heinrich Schenker became strongly invested in Schenkerism, not as a music theory, but as a covert symbol of white European masculinity. Schenker thus became an overt symbol, a meme, of white male identity among a very online group of individuals with little connection to music theory otherwise. Schenker as memes spread online, not only because of critiques of Schenker's racism, as some would claim, but because of online and offline support for his racism. Supporters of Schenker responded enthusiastically by creating online publications, comments and threads, bots to spread news stories and spam messages, and of course, memes. And I'm not going to be showing these memes today because my point is not to marvel at the absurdity of their content, but rather to make a broader point about how information spreads online. Supporters of Schenker's racism remixed the facts and created falsehoods, which were then picked up by conservative media, such as Fox News and the National Review, and spread online in a variety of ways. And it was significantly through these efforts that Schenker as meme was codified. And what I want to emphasize about all this is that Schenker's new crowd of online fans has damaged Schenker's reputation far more than Ewell's initial critique ever could have. When we shift the lens of theorization from technologies and memes to crowds of people who create and share them, we gain a new perspective. We see that information moves and matters differently according to the emotionality of a given crowd and its collective aims. A meme, no matter how interesting or controversial, will never gain traction without people and groups spreading it deliberately. For those who are motivated to participate in the music theory through memes, the distance and speed with which they may spread their messages with large groups of people is unprecedented. So today I have discussed a few of the ways people on the internet use memes to participate in the discourse of music theory. Creating memes can be a powerful method of adding to music theory. Music theory memes take many forms: a joke, a lesson, a mnemonic, a challenge, even a conspiracy theory. Music theory memes get circulated by groups of internet users who are motivated by shared emotions and shared goals. The crowds are as important and as interesting as the technologies themselves to understanding how memes spread information. And following on my point that music theory itself is a kind of meme on the internet, we should consider the effect this is already having on public conceptions of music theory. For many people, music theory is not shaped by music theorists. It is shaped by the meme of music theory. This demonstrates a need for some kind of internet music theory archaeology, one which would enable us to reconstruct the monument of music theory as it appears online. And it would not be enough to consider the memes themselves. We would also want to consider the people and the crowds who spread them. So such a project would need to combine internet archaeology with oral history. Music theory gets circulated by people who care about copying and editing, interpreting and reinterpreting, and otherwise participating in the discourse of music theory. Memes are part of an ongoing shift in how people conceptualize music theory, what it means to author a music theory, and what counts as music theory. Thus, it is pertinent for music scholars to take them seriously, even and perhaps especially when they appear to be